Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome to the TOKON. We're here rocking out with episode 1. Right now I'm flying solo on this one, but very possibly I'll see if anyone wants to run some duos with me. Pretty much I'm here reporting about all things TOKON, from tournament runs to DLC and good fun. Let's get it poppin'. First things first, we got a creator tournament broadcasted by Arc System Works themselves, hosted by Brian F and Sajam. We had creators like BoxBox, Lily Pichu, RDC World, but all eyes were on Maximilian Dude and Dotto Doya. Don't get it twisted, it's pronounced Dotto.
How's it going, everybody? Dotto Doya here.
I doubt he actually gets pressed about the pronunciation of his name, but this has been a running error since the Street Fighter Slam a while back. But that's not what we're here to talk about. There were a handful of competitors to get some points on the board in this King of the Hill style format, where the event was ran as a first to one format, but if you won 3 times in a row, you would rotate back to the bottom of the line. All eyes were on 2 people that were remaining undefeated, tallying more and more points: Max and Dotto. For some reason you don't know these guys, Max is a long-time fighting game content creator slash previous competitor, I guess, back in the day, and Dotto really broke onto the scene with Dragon Ball FighterZ, and as a fellow DBFZ fan, I'm with him, but this is all accumulating into Dotto versus Max. Max rocking a team of Wolverine, Blade, Carnage, and Doom, and Dotto rocking Hulk, Iron Man, Penny, and Magic. Max was the only notable person really making and taking any kind of advantage of the active attack system in the game, really showing his prowess in his time already sunk into the game and as a fighting game player as a collective. But Dotto doing equally well, contrasting that playstyle by focusing purely on his efforts with Hulk and just overwhelming with armor and massive damage. Dotto took the game in a rather convincing fashion. I believe the score was 3 rounds to 1, but I'll be honest, all of that build up just for a first to 1 with the clearly best players out of the bunch. It's kind of a whack format. I think if you're gonna do something similar to that format, you should maybe rework the structure of it where it turns into a top 8, and then, you know, those with the most points are factored into that top 8, and then they have proper 2 out of 3 sets or whatever you want it to have it be. And I think Dotto and Max agreed too, so they took things away from Arc System Works and ran the set, and the games were close, man, let me tell you. And it ended up with, once again, Dotto taking things 5-4.
Holy shit. Nice.
I'm on it.
Got this. Be grateful.
Ah, he's got a ground smash. I forgot. Great games, dude. That was super fun.
But the matches were really good, definitely worth checking them out, and I would definitely recommend doing so. You can check out Dotto or Max's channels. The King of the Hill style format is pretty interesting. It just needs to be reworked. It's very arcade coded. Personally, I'm a fan of traditional brackets, but what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Or is there a better way to rework this format? Do you guys hate it? Do you love it? Let me know. Let's move on and get a little nerdy for a second. We don't have any public records of the current sales of TOKON, but I'm more than a little curious as to how many units this game has actually managed to push. The game obviously does have a lot of things going for it. Arc System Works almost always comes correct. They're a fantastic developer. You know they're gonna make heat whenever they produce a game of this caliber and scale, with such a massive IP attached to it as well in the shape of Marvel. It's obviously very visually pleasing, beginner friendly. The question and I'm sure at least a few people want to know is, are we going to get another FGC wave similar to what DBFZ did for the community back in 2018? Now there is an asterisk on this, but I think the game could have a similar effect. I think it has the potential to sell as well. I think it has the potential to reach similar demographics of people. I think it's going to get new people into the scene and also bring people from different fighting games to this game. But for me, and this is where the asterisk comes into play, now this is going to be a little arbitrary, the vibes are not the same. The FGC now and the FGC then is not the same. Things are very lighthearted and a good kind of friendly framework of the FGC right now. Everybody's very friendly, it's not very gritty, and this also comes down to the IP as well. Dragon Ball is a gritty game. Don't get me wrong, of course Marvel has some incredibly dark sides to it and gruesome stories, but none of that is on display here. Once again, don't get any of this twisted. I do not want this game to be Dragon Ball. I don't want it to steal any of the mechanics or anything like that, but I want that same energy and aura around the game that I felt the game had at that time. I'm very curious as to the community that is going to develop around this game. The thing in particular, and kind of the way it was pitched to me with Dragon Ball fans, is Dragon Ball fans are willing and are kind of the perfect specimen to stick with fighting games and try to get good, because the moral of Dragon Ball is to literally overcome the odds and surpass your limits, kind of fueling into your self-growth with the game, improving, getting better, and reaching these higher heights as a player. That same sentiment isn't inherently attached to Marvel, especially in the modern day. Maybe in some comic iterations I'm not really familiar with. I've been out of touch of comics for a little while now, but as far as mainstream Marvel is concerned, that's not really the case. And maybe this is just an I'm getting older thing, that's probably what's happening, but truly if I could steal any one aspect from fighters, it wouldn't be the mechanics or tech. Like I said, I would wait for the first season to run its course so we can get the prominent names in the game, figure out who all the killers are, and have a TOKON Fighting Souls Summit. The Summit of Power was such an amazing event, nothing but a house full of the best players running a dream style tournament.
Both of them, this is literally
They both just back off round
as
start.
honest as you
None
could
of
be.
them won it.
Oh,
He reacts to the finishing
okay,
time.
level 3,
Level three. Here's the hard knockdown.
He has no meter. He has to hold this.
What's the sound?
But it's Vegeta.
Is he gonna wake
Vegeta
up
has no
flex?
mix-up. What's the
He's gonna
mix-up?
Oh,
The
no!
LK match.
You
The
called
LK
it, you
match.
called it, you
The
called
LK
it.
match.
Wake up buttons.
The LK match.
No level 3, no level 3.
No level
so he's
3 though,
okay.
so it's
okay.
fine.
Next hit
Yeah.
might be death.
Okay, the chase.
This is it.
Recognizes it. Vanishes.
Oh, he didn't
Waits
reflect
for the
him
VP.
off. Oh,
That's it.
Who knows if we'll ever get a repeat of something like that? That would absolutely be fire. But next up on the docket, this one is already pretty established at this point, but the first character for the Wave 1 DLC is none other than Phoenix Force Cyclops. Scott Summers himself. Personally, this was like a dream drop from the first DLC character. Cyclops has had a popularity surge over all my years of loving superheroes. He's for sure one of my favorite X-Men, but I'm more than a little curious as to how they're going to make him play. Obviously in Marvel 2 he acts like a Shoto, but this ain't Marvel 2. I gotta say, these characters do feel very well considered, and even though they are tied to very samey routes as far as the bare bones when it comes to combo structure, they feel unique. They have their own DNA, so I'm looking forward to see what they do with Mr. Summers. But the next question, of course, comes to what is next. What is going to be the next character that Marvel TOKON drops? Let me know who you think it could be and who you would want it to be. Personally, my Marvel 3 bias has me wanting more than anything for it to be my boy Taskmaster. But if I had to take a guess, I'm just gonna throw a wildcard name out there and say Dormammu. I feel more likely it would be something like Gambit. I don't actually know, but we are already getting Cyclops, and you know, I just don't think they would double dip with X-Men. As far as the tournament scene is concerned, we have CEO right around the corner. I'll be looking forward to the event, but I will not be able to attend. I'm going to be purely a viewer. Unfortunately, I'm moving that week, so a lot of grunt work for me to do and kind of break my back over, but this might give us some idea of who to really keep our eyes on in the scene. I'll be doing some coverage on the event in some regard. I'm not really sure if it's going to be in nature of like this, or maybe I'm going to be watching the matches of CEO. We'll see kind of where the things lie at the end of the day, and we can chat about the results. We do have, of course, some big names that are going to be attending: Supernoon, Chris G, Fenrich, Sonic Fox, which is interesting because by the sounds of their tweets around the game, they seemed a little bit lukewarm at the time. But the name I really have my eye on the most was none other than Lord Knight. LK is picking up another game competitively outside Guilty Gear. Lord Knight said he was going to compete, and looks like he's standing on that. I'm looking forward to seeing what all of these players are going to showcase and seeing the highest level of TOKON at this period and seeing where the game evolves from that. This brings us to our closing statement with the game game and just overall perception. I know with the various betas of the game, the public opinion on this game has been seeing roller coasters. With the open beta before the game officially released, the feedback out of what I've seen has been fairly positive. A lot of people like the game, obviously with, you know, a few exceptions here and there, shout out Sonic Fox, and then of course the elephant in the room of the performance on PC sucks. But I feel like the most important thing is if you like the actual skeleton of the game, things like its looks or mechanics, just how the game is structurally built, because as far as balance, all that shit can change if the devs decide that that's the way they want the game to go. Myself personally, I like the game, but I'm not overwhelmingly in love with it, but I do like it enough to keep rocking with it for now. Let me know if you guys have picked it up, what you think. Do you want to pick up the game and just wait until after you pay your rent? What are the vibes? Comment down below. And that's going to do things for our first kind of mini micro podcast, kind of testing the waters. We're probably going to be covering more than just TOKON, depends on how much I end up really rocking with the game and kind of just this format of doing videos. But anyway, y'all, thank you for tuning in. Just remember to keep on fighting and get ready for the next battle. I'll see you all later. Peace.